Hello, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours FM, episode number 85. I am live today with Nick Davis. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, hello. I'm very well, thanks. How you doing?
Doing all right. It's bright sunny daylight here and a little bit of nighttime coming on in Italy.
Yeah, got the night scene going on.
Well, want to welcome everyone who is tuning into today's episode. Excited to have our live listeners as always. And we of course, love the people who are listening to the replay. If you want to ask questions of Nick, you can do that by tagging your tweet with hashtag OfficeFM. Or if you're watching over on Google+, you can use the Q&A app to send in your questions there. And of course, you can always catch this episode and the transcript later on at officehours.fm. So with that, let's get on into it. So Nick, for folks that haven't met you or weren't able to stalk you online because you didn't have your about page yet.
I'm my best to shut that down. Yeah.
Give us the rundown, who you are, what you do, where you come from.
Okay, well, as you can probably tell from my amazing accent, I'm an English guy, but I live out in Italy, and I've lived here about 5 years. And before that, I was in Dubai a couple of years. And so, as you can see, I like living in places like England, though I miss it very much, and all my family and stuff there. I've been doing WordPress stuff for about 5 years, and kind of stumbled across it by accident. I actually wrote a book and was trying to promote it, and suddenly figured that maybe like a blog was a good idea, and just kind of picked it all up and just figured it out. And before that, I'd been doing kind of horrible CMSs and expensive things that were rubbish, and I saw WordPress and like a light shone down, and kind of haven't looked back from there. So, but today, right now, my maybe people watching this might actually, probably most people watching this might know me from a blog I started earlier this year, GenesisWP.guide, rocking the new domain name extensions, whatever the official name is. And actually, I wanted Genesis.rocks, but someone already had that. And the other thing I'm working on is Theme Valet, themevalet.com, which is just not just because it's a very important service, but setting up WordPress websites for people. So it's kind of like that gap between buying a theme and setting up yourself, and hiring a developer and a designer and doing something more proper. So yeah, that's me in a rambling 1 minute or so intro.
So basically, you've got a million things going on. As I don't know, I guess we're just people like us. What do we call ourselves? I don't know. Constant tinkerers or trying things out, or creatives,
Yeah.
or we've always got to have our fingers dabbling. I do want to talk to you about each of those endeavors. So you've got and a little bit more. We've got Theme Valet, which is your theme setup service, Lean themes for the Genesis framework, and then GenesisWP Guide, which is your kind of weekly roundup of all the things Genesis. So we'll get into those in a little bit. I would like to say, or excuse me, have a question already from Devinder for you. And he's asking what made you start this site, which is, I'm trying to load it, Devinder, and it's not coming up for me.
Genesis
How
Guide.
you made blank slate. You're just going to have to use your imagination, and how you plan to grow it besides the introduction of guest writers.
He must be talking about Genesis WP Guide. Yeah, I just clicked the link. Yeah, I knew someone was going to ask me that, and I thought I must have this really good, like, clever answer ready, or something that sounds like good in hindsight. I kind of started it, I think, I want to be completely honest with you, because that's how we roll on Office Hours FM.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
one, slightly out of this is probably a very British reason for doing it. Probably one, slightly out of a sense of like guilt for just taking from the Genesis community really shamelessly all the time. And it's not like I didn't thank people along the way or give them props, but especially like Bill Erickson, who I must have thanked like 1,000 times, Gary Jones, people like that. But And I even joined the GitHub repo for Genesis, and Nathan kindly brought me into the fold. But, you know, although I do development and stuff, and it's not like I'm making an excuse like I can't learn and get better, I don't think it's really like my A1 sort of strength, particularly this moment. So I just kind of wanted to do something that was like useful to give back. I think in hindsight, you can look and say, oh, you know, the GenesisWP hashtag on Twitter's got a bit spammy, and you know, like I can probably say that now and like and pretend that's the reason, to sort of bring all this kind of weekly roundup together, so you don't have to sort of circumvent some of the sad sort of rubbish that's now ended up on the hashtag. But I think it's more just that I wanted to do something to kind of give back, and I just felt it would be useful. I mean, for me, like on project, I'm always looking for new themes and stuff like Genesis. I mean, that was for me. I was doing a lot more kind of consultancy sort of development back then, and I just wanted to know, like, just tell me the newest 3, 4, 5, if there's that many. It's not usually that many, like cool themes, and don't make me wade through like a directory of like 30 themes that I've seen before. And not to knock these people who just list themes, but it's just the stuff that I want to know. So that's probably what I guess. Yeah, I think guilt is the reason why I started it.
I don't know if I've ever had anybody say that guilt was the reason they started.
And if I shut it down like in a month's time or something, not that I'm planning to, but now I'm gonna look bad, like, oh, you're not doing anything for the Genesis community anymore. It's like my contribution will end once if I ever close the blog. Not that I'm planning to. But.
No, not so. But I do think, you know what? Let's mute you when you're not talking. I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're all good. Oh, well, maybe it's just me. Oh no, that did fix it. Okay. I do think you hit on a really important point though, and that is in the open source community and WordPress in particular, people are so giving. There's so much information out there, and it is easy just to be a consumer of that without ever giving back. And number two, I told you that they find it interesting, or what kind of feedback have you gotten?
Sorry, but part of it like broke up there. But the feedback I've got from readers and stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been really great actually. It's not like we don't have like 10,000 subscribers or anything like that, but and being like, you know, I have that, you know, Brian Gardner constant. I don't think I can just say it's him, but that kind of constant like self-doubt of like when he creates something. I mean, I'm not so bad on Genesis WP Guide now, but if I post like a personal blog post, it takes me 10 minutes just to hit publish. Like, so I have the constant doubt of like, is this really useful and stuff? But after very quickly, people were just like really supportive of it. I had people, I can't remember who it was, but someone sent me a message on Slack saying that someone only bought this theme from them because I mentioned it on, well, maybe not the only reason, but they wouldn't have discovered it in the first place if it hadn't been on GenesisWP Guide. I think I paused it for a couple of weeks over summer because I was just too flat out busy. I wanted to spend some time with the family, and people going, where is the update? And so that's really nice. So yeah, I think actually probably I can add to my guilt answer straight away. I think the other reason was, thinking back now, was, and I actually include myself in this, I think like a lot of the Genesis community is not also like the most rocking in terms of promoting their own businesses and selling stuff community. Like, I'm not, if I offend anyone, like, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, because I think it's the truth. And I think, I just think, I think, and I include myself in that, because a lot of us are head down coders, and we have great advice from people like Chris Lammer, and I know a lot of us are fans of kind of guys like Brennan Dunn, and I can't remember his name, the guy who does Art of Value. I think we've all learned like a lot from that. But, you know, I launched themes, and it was like, we had, you know, some nice sales and stuff, but really, like, I was so focused on development and stuff that I just don't think we really thought enough about the kind of marketing side of it. So I was like, well, there needs to be a place where kind of the best Genesis stuff kind of rises to the top to try to just help people get more sales. Because I see beautiful themes, and I don't think maybe all of them, well, I'm sure they're not. They're not selling enough, and maybe they never will sell enough to be a complete day job for someone because of, you know, Genesis size of the market or whatever. But then I think there are themes that do go unnoticed, the work that gets unnoticed. So it was, you know, all the kind of guilt joke aside, I think it really was a way to try and do that. So yeah, I you know, to a long way to answer your question. You know, I had some really nice feedback, and it does keep me. If I have a week where I'm really just writing an update or like 5 minutes to go before publishing, I'm thinking, should I still be doing this? I've got other stuff to do. It kind of keeps me going when people share stuff and people say, you know, thanks for writing and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. And we are bad at marketing as a whole.
Yeah, it sounds like I condemned everyone with that. It's not. I mean, there's some super smart people as well, but I just think a lot of us aren't. I mean, I think if you look at what Lindsay's doing, like what Lauren is doing, and I just look at the size of their email list and I go, oh wow, like you really are doing this properly. I was lucky enough to chat to Brian Gardner like ages ago for something we did, like a one-off thing on lean themes, not like you do every week. And I think he called out, I think it was you, Bill, and I think it was Lindsay, as saying these are the people you learn from, like watch these people, like how they market, how they go about their business and stuff. And I think it's obviously of the three of you, Lindsay's probably most focused on themes, and that's what I was doing at Lean Themes. And yeah, you can see the way she just runs a business and how everything fits together is super smart. So I don't want to get like hate mail or something, but like to say that no one in Genesis knows marketing stuff. But I think it's a genuine truth that we're so like head down on development and stuff that we all just need like a boost. And if we can all just help each other out and just you know, point out the best themes and stuff, then why not do it?
Well said. So lean themes, you've mentioned it. You've got, was it 2 themes?
Yeah, it's lean. It's only 2 themes, right?
Good job. Okay, so what made you want to throw your hat in the ring in the theme business? That's a hard road to hoe.
Yeah, we definitely took the hard road. I think particularly, yeah, we did. I think again, a couple of things. I think like, again, I'm just rolling out the super honesty today. Of course, I'm always honest, but I just want to be clear. I'm not holding anything back. I just like coding themes. I like coding themes. Like, and sometimes you have like sometimes you have a difficult client, and it makes it harder. But like if you're coding it for yourself, and if you've got a beautiful design, because I'm not really a designer. I did read Raphael's book, and it is amazing, but I haven't invested enough time in his book to make me a designer yet. But I bumped into this guy, the designer on the project, who's probably not really known in the Genesis community, a guy called Derry Burkett, who used to live in Italy, now lives in Barcelona. He's English as well. And long story short, bumped into him, and he just, I mean, the guy, I love his design. I'm biased, right? Because, you know, it's lean themes, and maybe someone will hear me talking about lean themes, then go and buy the theme after this. But trust me, I have such self-doubt about anything I put out. I'm so apologetic for like a blog post I write. Like for me to go, this is a really good design. It is a good design. The lean themes, they are good designs. The code you can take to part, because I did the code, fine, I don't mind. But the designs, Derry did them, and I think they're great. So yeah, I wanted to have a go at selling themes, and when I saw the designs that Derry had, and for me to just, like I said, it's for me like coding a theme. It might be like some people do like a crossword puzzle or something like that. I just love taking design and just, and I'm such a big fan of Genesis, and to me, it makes it so easy. So yeah, that was just kind of how it came about. And yeah, just really pleased to put like Derry's designs into the world. And I think also because when I saw his designs, I don't think, I mean, some of the designs in the Genesis community, like the stuff people put out, is incredible. But I actually think lean themes, the kind of style of design Derry has, I don't think it's really anything exactly the same. Maybe in Genesis, I mean, maybe our latest one, it's a bit kind of medium-y, which kind of looks like a lot of themes. But I certainly think the first one, I look at some of the other stuff that's out there, and I do think it's genuinely different. I don't think I could put something out that I just looked kind of like, Studio Press light, like we're trying to kind of ape what Brian does, or Lauren does at Studio Press. I just don't think there'd be any point. So I felt we were putting something different out there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some personal questions, some personal business questions. So your partnership with Derry, and did you just like pay him out a flat fee for the design, and then you code it, you support it, et cetera, or is it a true partnership where you?
No, it's just a true partnership, straight down the middle. Like I end up, my biggest worry with lean themes was like, oh, we're only charging people once, and we're going to get swamped with support. Excuse me. But support hasn't, it's not like we sold like thousands and thousands of themes. So I guess if we did, we would have more support. But as a percentage wise, let's say, like I really was surprised there weren't that many support issues. And maybe it's because of my, amazing coding or whatever, or the fact we didn't put so many features in that people would get confused. I think actually Studio Press, I don't think it's like a deliberate thing, but I think Studio Press, the way they do their themes and stuff, without having like I'd say a benefit of doing themes without having thousands of features and options is a lighter kind of support thing. And we took the view of like, we're not going to code in anything that should be in a plugin. And I think that really reduced the amount of support. But yeah, it's just straight up 50-50. I didn't pay him. He donated the designs. I donated my code, for better or for worse.
And what about your price point? How did you determine how you were going to price those themes?
Well, I kind of wanted to go even a lot higher with that. I was on Kim Doyle's podcast, and I was putting out like a call to everyone to raise their theme prices, which just sounded completely self-serving. And it is, but price point, I don't know. I think we picked $59. I remember $59 in. I think I wanted to go even higher, but I think Derry taught me down, and as I felt that just the quality of the design is certainly worth it. I mean, you see now, there was some theme I saw the other day. It was like $200, and it's incredible. And people are buying it. It's not a Genesis one. I think it's on WordPress.com. And I guess you just need someone brave enough to establish that price point. I certainly wasn't going to do it for like $19 or anything like that. I think I just looked. To be honest, I looked over at like Studio Press and just saw like what the kind of the stronger themes and stuff were charging, and just kind of went along with that, which is probably quite a lame sort of reason. But I think that was what I looked at, and I think it's worked out okay.
So Studio Press is, as far as I understand it, is getting ready to go to a subscription might not be quite the right word, but a recurring payment. I cannot string my words together correctly, but instead of just the one-time flat fee, I believe they're going to an annual subscription fee for their themes. And I'm actually really excited to see them doing that, because I think it's they set the tone and the standard for so many other theme sellers, just due to the size of their shop and of course their authority in the space. People look to them to see what they're doing. And from a sustainability standpoint, I'm thrilled to see them doing that. That encourages me that there will continue to be an income stream for Genesis, which in turn makes me hope that and think that the project, that Genesis, will continue to be actively developed for a good while to come. Devinder says 79 is the new price point for Genesis themes.
Okay, well, we're immediately putting up lean themes prices tomorrow. Better buy it now.
I'll give you 5 minutes if you want to go adjust the settings there. Cool. So yeah, anybody that's tuning into the show, if you've dabbled in selling your themes or products, that's been sort of a recurring theme, pun intended, on this show. And if you have questions for Nick, this would be a fantastic time to hop in and ask. And thanks, Devinder, for the scoop. Man, you're Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of pricing, I know we're jumping across all of your endeavors, but Theme Valet,
Yes.
which is, you take a theme, you set it up to look like a demo or whatnot. We've talked offline about pricing for that, but tell me a little bit about your thoughts behind it's tiered, so there you have 3.
That's right. Yeah, there's the main one. I think I would have to check. I think it is our most popular package still. Is the $99 one, and yeah, and we did speak about it. So I don't know if from whatever happens from that point, like good or bad in the business, we can pin back to that moment. And yeah, no, I appreciate your advice on it. I think yeah, so the $99 is kind of like the entry. It's like just make it look like the demo, and I thought like a lot of people would be super lazy and probably will maybe want like the next one up, which is like demo and some content, and then there's like demo and branding. I think it's pretty fair to say the middle and higher tier ones are still very much settling down in terms of what you get, like what you don't get. I think I looked at because I think you do set up for utility, and I think I looked at maybe what Lauren does and what Lindsay does in terms of price points. But really, I mean, they're talking directly with their audience. So what we offer is kind of not different, but it's people are discovering us in a different way. So I don't think it's necessarily relevant. So yeah, I think the thinking behind the price points is, yeah, it's just trying to offer people a genuine choice. But I think it's going to take some time to really settle down, like the middle price point and the top price point. This is a part of me that just, because I don't like just doing things like the way, everyone says have a blog, everyone says go on Twitter, everyone says do this. I can't really stand that. And I just like doing things differently. And everyone says have 3 price points or 4 or whatever. There's a part of me that would actually be kind of interested. And maybe I'll try this of just really pushing like the $99 one, because okay, obviously there's more margin and stuff in the other price points, but it really appeals to people, and it really surprised me. It's customers seem to have, it's like they don't mind playing with WordPress. They just hate that setting up from demo. They just hate that I install the theme. And I know some themes have like one-click stuff now, but still a lot of them don't. Or even the one-click theme setup we've done, like we've done it for clients and we're like, hey, this is just one click. They're like, we don't care, just do it. Actually, we've done the one click and there's still loads of work to do. And I think they just hate that, they hate that kind of starting from zero. And I think once you have that demo content in there, it does make it easier to understand, and people feel more comfortable to kind of fiddle around with it then, because they can literally see, oh, that word is there. I see that where that word is in the admin and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'd be interested to maybe try just really heavily pushing like the $99, just going for like a really, really, really simple approach.
I will be curious to see how that goes. From what I understand and seen in this with other folks that are selling products in the WordPress space, a lot of it is experimentation. So you're kind of putting things out there, you're doing some A/B testing, you're seeing what works, how people respond. So why not, right? Give it a whirl. So Jackie's got a great question, and we kind of touched on this before the show, but what implementation challenges do you face when clients select a poorly coded theme or don't understand theme limitations? So they come to Theme Valet, they want your $99 service, and they hand you a garbled piece of mess from Theme Forest. What's your response?
Yeah, well, that was exactly it, and I had lots of thoughts about this. I think 2 things. Sound like a kind of politician, like evading. Okay, now first of all, if someone let me just get to the meat of it. If someone gives us a theme that I think is, and I'm still, the business is still at a stage where the theme will at least come to me, and I'll, all this kind of basically go and review before we start working on anything. So I will check, I'll look at the theme, and often clients will send us a zip file anyway. If I think the theme is really, really, really horrible, to the point of like cripplingly bad, I will say, I'm very careful on design, because design it's kind of subjective. I guess it's more if I think things are bundled in there, or it's going to be really horrible and like insecure, so some way down the road, then I would definitely say. And I think we have had at least one or two, yeah, maybe two we've pushed back on, and the client was actually happy. And one case it was more like the design, and they were just, I appreciate your point of view, but I'm still gonna go with this design. And the other one, they completely changed, and they bought, and I think they bought maybe a studio press. It was definitely a Genesis theme. They went from Theme Forest to Genesis, so I converted someone. And so yeah, other time, but one thing that's helped a lot actually is I put like a theme recommendation service, like link at the top, and now it's basically become, I think maybe half our orders start as a theme recommendation service inquiry. I guess it's that thing where you always try and make it easier for the client to sort of push on and proceed in the process, right? Because buying a theme set up from a complete stranger is one thing, but having us just recommend the theme, and obviously it's free, and we don't, not that I'm against affiliate links in any way, but to try and make it transparent, we don't put like affiliate links in the recommendation. So we're like, we're only recommending this theme because of this. We try and make it completely transparent because we're trying to sell the service, not the affiliate link. And that's really helped us weed out a lot of poor theme choices, I think, from the clients in the first place, because it's most of them, they haven't bought the theme yet, and I think it's converted a lot more people because it just made it easier for them to start talking to us. And I just want to make the service, I think, again, as developers, I'm going to upset loads of people again here, but again, as we've got that cliche sort of developer thing, and I've come from both sides. Like my job I had before going out on my own, I would commission stuff from agencies, like apps, websites. I'd spend lots of money. Like I would be the client, and I had like 25 designers and developers working for me, and I didn't really know like a lot of coding. So I've really seen this from like all angles. And I think we've all had that thing, where you've got some developer or something, or maybe you haven't, but you've got a developer to help you on a project, and you send them an email, you don't get anything for like 2 days, or they come back and go, oh, I need more detail. Or anyway, okay, maybe it's a cliche, but it's in the client's eyes, it's how they see a lot of developers. And I want Theme Valet to be the absolute opposite of that, like the complete and total, the nicest, most friendly, most overly helpful, fast response thing. Because I think that's what people, to some extent, are really buying. They're buying that. I think it's kind of WordPress without some of the rough edges, which is setting up themes. And it could go to something like Squarespace, but then they don't have a lot of the cool benefits of WordPress. So it's trying to stop people going there, but it's also just trying to make the whole thing a smooth and nicer experience, or waiting 24, 48 hours for a response from the theme shop or wherever they bought it. So yeah, I think it's kind of those things.
Sure, that makes sense. And we had a question that was timely, and you answered it while the question was being asked. How do you help clients choose an appropriate theme? It sounds like you help kind of funnel them in a right direction. Jackie asked, with your very affordable pricing, how do you manage client expectations and support? And the second part of that was, do you have clients who end up expecting more than what they paid for?
We haven't really. No, I was just thinking the other day, because it happened to me, I think last week we had our first, I would say, subpar client experience, and it was totally our fault because I just switched over to Help Scout and something didn't go, like the alert and stuff we were supposed to get, and they were waiting like 5 hours for like a response that should have just been yes, of course. And that just, I don't think it like completely destroyed the experience of a relationship, but going back to what I was talking about in terms of like, we don't want people waiting around for responses, that was clearly like not what we were hoping for. But to kind of go back to more to Jackie's questions, clients' expectations, affordable pricing. I think we just try and spell it out. I think on the order form, I use Gravity Forms, not WooCommerce or EDD, although I love both of those solutions. I like Gravity Forms because I like the extreme control you can get over the form and all the stuff that happens afterwards. And I was actually working on the other day, kind of like like a form that a client will see after they submit the checkout form, because I don't want to stuff the checkout with every single detail, because they'll definitely be flying out, you know, they will hit the back button so fast. So I want to do like a sort of a second form after they sign up, where they have the opportunity, if they want to. If they don't want to fill in the form, fine, but if they want to, they can just give us a bit more detail. So I try and really set it out in the form, and the form actually changes based on what they're ordering to say you're going to get this. I think, and also in our correspondence and stuff with them, I again, in like a sort of subtle way, just trying to say, once we set up our demo, so we can hand it back over to you, it's like a constant reinforcement of like, you bought this, we're not going to do this for you. Trying to say it in like a nice way. And I see she's got a second question. Have you had clients expecting more for what they paid? Not really. I mean, I think, again, going back to trying to be overly helpful, like I think if someone's got like one small tiny extra request, I think we probably do it for them. I think where I'm trying to draw the line on Theme Valet is, I think this is a smart place probably to draw the line, is basically never get into any like PHP code, never get into any, obviously we could do it, but just we try and do everything we can that could set up plugins, or we could do small CSS stuff, but basically not get into that. We're trying to do everything we can and not pretend otherwise, not pretend we're doing a big consulting service or development service. We're not. We are just and actually, one thing I've seen from our clients is a lot of them could do it themselves. I know for a fact a lot of them absolutely could set up themselves, but they don't have the time and they don't care to do it. So we're just putting together themes, and in some cases plugins, and giving them a result that they want in a timely fashion. I think the only time we've done a few Rainmaker jobs now. We don't officially sort of say that on the site, but we had people ask us to do Rainmaker, and I think the first time we did Rainmaker, we took on a way more than we should, but it was fine because the customer was really nice and it was a learning experience for us. But I think I wrote a blog post about it, just saying you do have to say no sometimes. So it's trying to, like I said, it's trying to early in the process just establish those kind of boundaries in a really nice, polite way, and just sort of dissuade them otherwise. We had one person the other day did an upgrade because they bought this and then they suddenly realized they wanted that. So it's been okay. Again, like the lean themes thing, I thought it was going to be a complete nightmare. It hasn't been so far, touch wood.
Do you still do like traditional client services, custom projects?
I actually turned down a few like recently, which is like a nice position to be in. I would like to. I think I still help out a couple of people, almost kind of clients, but almost like friends, because I just can't let people go. I'm actually trying to shut down at the moment a couple of kind of long-term client jobs and stuff I've had going on. I have a website, design2to website.com. I can believe I managed to pick up that URL, and I did 1 page as I put all my stuff on that, but almost since I put it up, I haven't been doing that. So I think really to kind of give actually a step back, and people go, well, you're doing Theme Valet, but it's still new. You're doing lean themes. You've already said that themes for most people aren't completely paying the bills. So how are you surviving? Like, what are you doing if you're not doing consulting and stuff? So to give you the background, me and my wife, we have a company called eSanctuary, which is kind of, I know people hate like tech consulting company, like, well, what do you actually do? But it is a tech consulting company. So that's kind of Theme Valet is within that at the moment. Maybe if it's like a real breakout success, we'll pull it out of that and it'll be its own thing. But we've been working very hard on that, and she's been working very hard on that, and we're lucky that kind of can support us as well. And I think the time when I was doing most of the real hardcore like coding and stuff, and as I said, I literally do enjoy it. So it's not like a sort of a hard thing for me to do, or like I feel like I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. But the time when I really did most of it was when she was late stage pregnant, and when the baby came like a couple of years ago, and she wasn't working at all, and because of, long story short, like wasn't basically going to get paid because it was not like a traditional job, whatever, and it really affected our income. I just went in, I couldn't go into the stage where I am now, where I can afford to be a bit more experimental with Theme Valet, and so, you know, it doesn't have to hit 5 figures, you know, every month or whatever. I'm just learning about it and do that. But back then it was really just, well, I know I can code to a reasonable level. Hopefully, you know, I learned a lot from the Genesis community without giving back, and I'm going to use it to create some income for my family. And I really enjoy coding, but I think in the long run, I have so, not to sound like a hero about it, but I have so few hours in the day with, you know, baby and stuff, and I don't think I can just sit at the computer and kind of code all day. Like, I mean, maybe if I was better and smarter in business, I could kind of organize myself so I could, but I think now, like in a post-baby world, it doesn't make sense for me to kind of split up my time that way. So I'd rather try and push Theme Valet, and maybe I'll still take a few jobs because I do enjoy it. And you know, it's a nice way to get some kind of, not fast money, but you know, it's, instead of selling 20 Theme Valet setups, to just do one project with one client and get I do miss that kind of sort of connection that you have with a really good client, and things really just really click. But yeah, for right now, I'm trying not to. We'll see.
You made a post-baby world sound like post-apocalyptic or something.
Oh, is that how it came across?
In a world with post-babies.
So hang on. So far, I've basically questioned the marketing skills of all Genesis. I've said all developers are like grumpy, like unresponsive. What else? And now I make it sound, yeah, the fatherhood like a terrible thing. No, I love being a dad. It's just the best thing. I mean, if I could just have everything run itself and do the Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week and just spend time with my son, that would be awesome. But
right,
even though I'm lucky enough to have a lot of sort of smart people in business and stuff, as friends, I haven't quite cracked it yet. But I blame that I did sort of 10 years kind of career stuff before I kind of quit. And I really think it's kind of making excuses for myself. But I've got, there's a couple of friends I know who are like 21-year-old entrepreneurs. I'm so jealous of them. I completely hate them because, like, they haven't got those not scars. They haven't been, you know, they haven't gone into, like, and maybe not everyone's like this, but for me, it was like 10 years of like, okay, I always was like a proactive employee, but it was like, what should I do next? What's the target now, boss? What's the goal? And then to switch and just do it all on your own and just kill your main income stream at the same time. It's like a really, really, really hard gear shift. I think it's taken me really like a long time to kind of, I think, again, I wrote like a blog post about it maybe 6 months ago, of like, I think I finally reached the point, it took me like 4.5 years where I felt like, oh, I kind of vaguely, again, in like a very British, not being arrogant kind of way, but I think I vaguely know what I'm doing now. I feel confident enough I can write a blog post which says I'm doing okay. I'm not like a complete embarrassment in terms of entrepreneurship anymore.
For the record, it never sounds arrogant if you say, I vaguely know how to do something.
Hey. Okay,
well, yeah, you echo a journey that similar to mine, where it's a winding path, and now you're finally, after a decade or more, kind of getting on your feet and working towards what it is you want, ultimately, which is to be able to produce enough income to enjoy the lifestyle that you want, which is being with your family, which is awesome. We're over the halfway mark. If anyone is tuned in midway through the show, I am chatting with Nick Davis from Lean Themes, Theme Valet, eSanctuary, and GenesisWP Guide. Did I leave any out? And maybe some other things.
There's so many things. No, I wrote a blog post this other day. Officially, I'm only working on Theme Valet now, officially. But then I looked at my week, and it's not panning out like that. But I'll get there.
Got a question here. Do you have, going back to the Theme Valet, do you have a lot of competition in that space?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like a totally new, amazing idea. I actually think this goes back to what I said about 6 months ago, getting to the point where I felt like I was doing okay, vaguely okay, whatever words I use. And I think when I first started out, I think everything had to be like, oh, no one in the world has done this idea before, or they've done it and they've done it so badly that I'm allowed to do it as well. You know, I had a great podcast chat the other day between John Naster, who maybe some people in the community will know because he's got a podcast on the Rainmaker.fm. And Laura Roder, who used to be known for selling kind of social media marketing courses, and she absolutely killed it. And now she does Edgar, which is like a kind of Buffer rival. And they were talking about, and John was brilliant. You know, it was just like, it kind of sounds like a bit like Buffer, Edgar. You know, so how did you do? You know, Buffer was already killing it. And I assume most people know what Buffer is. It's like a tool where you can schedule social media. So Edgar does something similar. And so, you know, why did you do it? And she's like, well, John would explain it better than me. Laura would explain it better than me. But basically, you know, there's so much room in the space. There's not, it's not like competition in maybe the traditional sense of, you know, only so many Italian restaurants in town. Or you know, there's more than enough sort of capacity, I guess. So I don't mind. So yeah, sorry, I'm kind of putting all kinds of interpretations on Jackie's question that maybe she didn't have, but to answer it specifically, do you have a lot of competition space? Yes, absolutely, and I think that's fine. I guess the only thing that maybe makes me kind of a little bit sad is when, like, I see people do amazing themes, could maybe partner with us instead. Like, I think like we could probably maybe in the long run make them more money. I'm biased, of course, rather than try and take care of that themselves. But I think a lot of people, I think, again, looking at some people in Genesis space, I think they're super organized with setup and support. So I don't think it's really an issue. Do you see this market growing for DIY clients or small business startups? Yeah, I mean, I think WordPress keeps growing. I think, and I've discovered kind of a lot of curious things from starting it. Like, it's definitely challenged my expectations, where I think I thought a lot of people want like the end-to-end service, demo setup, content setup, and maybe tweak the you know, colors or set up some e-commerce. But a lot of people just want the demo. They just want the demo. And so I guess you could say the competition would be if theme makers themselves start doing better one-click demos. But honestly, I had someone the other day and she didn't, you know, we were like totally transparent. We said, look, we're going to go and do this job for you, but it's really following instructions, one click, like boom. I don't care, just do it. Like, just do it. I don't, you know, it's that. I don't know if anyone ever read the $100 startup. And it's quite, you know, it's in the kind of same mold as maybe 4-hour work week or something. They start up. It's Chris, can't remember his name. It's famous for going around every country in the world. And he basically said, a lot of business owners have this assumption, like they want to know what you know, but you know, not everyone wants to go to the restaurant and go in the kitchen and know how to cook. They just want the food. And it's the same with WordPress. So we know how easy it is just to go for instructions and do like one-click install. Like, we know the client doesn't care. They do not care, or not all clients, but a lot of clients don't care. They just want it done. And you know, it's a lot of the things that you've talked about on here in terms of providing value and stuff. It's providing the value that they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter the complexity, as long as they have a good experience and they get the result that they want.
Yep, I call it cost of opportunity, and that I can pay someone to do something that I'm quite capable of doing myself, but that in hiring them, I'm freeing myself up to do whatever it is I do that's making me money. So, for instance, I had a guy come mow my lawn yesterday. Typically, I mow my lawn during the summer, but allergy season, this is TMI. I don't even know why I'm saying this on the podcast, but in the fall, I get somebody else to mow the lawn. And yes, it's November, and we still have to mow in Texas. But anyway, so he came and mowed my lawn, charged me $35. And in that same hour, I earned $100 doing client services. So was my money well spent? Heck yeah, it was. I still came out with a net $65, whatever, if my math is correct. But yeah, I love that idea of people paying for the convenience of something, even if they don't, or they could do it themselves. But anyways, that was a really long kind of sideways trail.
But very true as well.
And Going back to the competition, I had in the past month, I've had James Laws from Ninja Forms and also Robbie from Beaver Builder, Page Builder, and there's tremendous competition in both of those spaces, and interesting discussion with them about what their thoughts were, and kind of same as you're saying. There's really plenty of space when you look at different ways you can serve your customers or your ideal customer.
Yeah.
Whew, I just talked too long. Sorry about that. So we've got a question from Tara. She says, hey, Nick Davis, it seems that not many Genesis freelancers promote their work on showcases like Facebook. Why do you think that is?
I have to give a shout out. To Tara Clays. She's doing, I will come back to the answer, but I promise I'll give a shout out. She's doing a GenesisWP.guide update this week. I'm experimenting with like guest editors. But so I have to say thank you very much for like being the first one and doing that. So it seems not many Genesis freelancers promote their work on showcase like Facebook. Why do you think that is? That's a question she's probably asking me because she's probably looking for showcase examples right now for the weekly update.
Hey, Tara, are you using this podcast to ask questions?
That's very smart. Why do you think that is? I don't know. I tell you what, I've got a kind of, I will answer it in a slightly different way. I saw a comment from the Bournes the other day, and whoever, I think everyone in Genesis knows and love you, Born Creative, Jennifer and Brian. I'm such massive fans of them, and I was sort of scouring through the hashtag as I usually do, Thursday, Friday, and one of them made a comment about how they basically weren't posting some of their showcase stuff on the hashtag anymore because it's kind of so spammy. I was like, well, damn, you're making my job harder, because you guys post some of the best stuff and I'm not seeing it. So I think in terms of Twitter, I think it's maybe the hashtag problem, and I think so they're just kind of avoiding that. And I think traditionally Twitter was the place for Genesis discussion, then probably moved to Slack on Facebook. I think I'm going to be smart and say I don't know. Maybe people, I know there's a Genesis Showcase Facebook group now, so everyone should go and join that, which is really nice to see. And people, I think they're kind of constructive, but also supportive in the comments as well. So I'd probably recommend everyone go ahead and join that. I guess you can, if you just search for it on Facebook, you should find it. I should probably put a link to it on my site, but I definitely linked to it a couple of times. So I'm not sure why. Maybe it goes back to the marketing thing, or maybe they're just so head down. I mean, sometimes I do a site, I'm really, really pleased with it, but I don't know. I'm already on to the next thing in my head, and I probably should share it, but I'm already on to the next project. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, my portfolio is always about 5 projects behind. Let's see. Got a question from Devender. So when it comes to Theme Valet and themes that people are requesting that you install, are you seeing any trends there? And besides Genesis, any kind of repeat requests?
I do get a few Genesis. Maybe probably half of those are Genesis ones that people that I've sort of converted to Genesis. Like I said, it's kind of cheating, but it's the true answer is I get quite a few Rainmaker requests, and I don't think we say anywhere officially we do Rainmaker. I know lots of people associate Genesis and Rainmaker. Anyway, I mean, they are obviously massively related, but I'm thinking from like the client point of view. So if that counts, I think otherwise it's just saying theme forest, which is obviously not a framework. We do get a lot of theme forest requests, but I mean, not all theme forest themes are bad. They're really not. I saw Brian from Post Data shared an amazing one the other day, and I almost hated the fact this amazing theme is on sort of theme forest. It's like, no, you should be on your own site. You can't, But it was a lovely theme, so it's not all automatically bad, but it's Rainmaker. I think there are I mean, you've discussed it before, right? I think there's big opportunities in kind of rainmaker stuff right now. I guess the flip side is you're kind of tying yourself to one thing, but then if you look at the company behind it and the amount of love and effort they're putting into rainmaker, I think they're going to do. There's a lot of energy and focus on making sure it succeeds. So it's probably worse people to tie yourself to than kind of. They're not called Copyblog anymore, are they? Rainmaker Digital.
All right, there's the quote of the show. There are worse people to tie yourself to than Rainmaker. I love it. Okay, so we've got a little less than 10 minutes here left on the show. So if you have questions for Nick, you can get those in on Twitter with the hashtag OfficeFM. Nick, if you would allow me a moment to share a little with my audience. So we are coming up. Next week is Thanksgiving here in the States, and I'm thinking about turkey all of a sudden, and how good a turkey would be right now. Anyhow, I digress in my turkeys. But we're coming up on the holiday season, and of course, Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, which is podcast day. And I think Christmas is actually, I guess it's Christmas Eve is falling on a Thursday. Here's where I'm getting with this. I'm putting a pause on officehours.fm for the holiday season. So we'll be taking a break for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and I will see you again that first week in January. So I'll still be sending out some newsletters. If you want to keep in touch, do subscribe over at officehours.fm/subscribe so you can be in the know when our first show of the new year kicks off. Last year I pre-recorded some episodes and chugged away, but I think this year I'm going to give you a break, my listeners. I'm giving you a break from my podcast to go listen to some other things and enjoy time with your families. All right, so with that, let's see. We've got hey Sridhar, it's good to see you on the Twitters. He's asking, do you use anything any other frameworks than Genesis, or is that where you're spending 100% of your time? And what child theme do you use the most?
Well, I will answer that in 2 seconds, but I thought your announcement was going to be you're going to go head to head with UK Genesis to avoid the Thursday clash. I thought that would be interesting. But,
No, I love my friends over at that podcast entirely too much.
No, I'm really like Genesis fanboy, massively. Maybe to a fault. I don't think a fault, but I mean, I guess I say it because I see a lot of other people I respect in the Genesis community, and they do use other frameworks, and that's totally fine. I just who was it who said someone on the Twitter feed that said the other day, I can't remember his name, but I put it on the weekly roundup I did, saying that Genesis basically taught him how to code in WordPress. Whoever it was, big shout out to you. It's the same for me, really. I think I bought the Elegant Themes as the first one I ever bought, and it was okay. Some of the designs were nice, but it was kind of horrible. And then I bought the Studio Press. I just dived in and bought the whole package, and I just kind of sort of deconstructed those themes, I guess. And that's how I learned WordPress really as a whole. If you want to call my level of knowledge knowing WordPress, that's debatable. But that and Bill Erickson, thank you. So, and to answer the question. Which child themes I use the most? I'm really boring. I just use the sample theme. And that's really, I think it's cool. I'm not, because as I kind of explained, I'm not like real heavy dev at the moment. So I completely understand why people use like Sass and all kinds of things like that. But for what I'm doing, it's not worth it. And so I use a sample theme. Before that, I really used, I think, Bill Erickson, but it's definitely out of date now, and he would say the same thing. You shouldn't use it. It was back in HTML4 days. I think Bill Erickson had a great child theme and core functionality plugin. I used those, but they're both probably past their sort of sell by date now.
And there you have it, a Genesis sample theme. It's actually, it is a great kind of lean theme, if you will, to start with sort of a blank, or as close to a blank slate as you can get and still actually have a theme. So what's on over the holidays? Are you planning on taking any time off, not just to be with your family, but to kind of hone in on what's the plan of action for the new year in terms of growing lean themes? I mean, excuse me, Theme Valet?
Yeah, I've got an idea I would love to do for a GenesisWP guide, but I should try and push it out of my head. But maybe if I get Theme Valet in a place where I'm really happy with it, I might spend some time on that, because I've got, I think, a couple of really fun ideas for that. But yeah, I mean, me and my wife and I, sorry, are both, I know we both, as I say, workaholics. We don't mind working like hard for the kind of stuff we want. And so I think we both actually look at Christmas period. I mean, obviously we're celebrating and have fun, but we definitely look, we've had quite a crazy couple of years, and we usually travel for Christmas, but this year we're staying here. So I think we both kind of actually see it as a moment to actually take some time to kind of look at the business stuff as a whole and actually spend some time on the activities we never get around to. So yeah, depending on where like Theme Valet is at, I guess I will be spending some more time on that. I mean, I really like the idea that every customer we had, apart from maybe that one where unfortunately it got a bit mangled in switching over to Help Scout, it's gone really, really well. So, and like I said, I think it's not about the competition. It's clearly a product that people like, people will spend money on. It's the challenge for me is getting in front of enough people at the right time, and that will be the ultimate test on whether it's really truly a viable business or not. So yeah, I guess I will be thinking about that. A turkey would be good right now.
I'm telling you, yeah, I've got everybody thinking about turkeys. Joe, hey Joe, thanks for chiming in on Twitter. Okay, so the #1 best-selling studio press theme is actually or I guess marketplace theme is Foodie Pro by Shaybox. Cool lady. I've had her on the show before. I mean, it's been the #1 for I don't even know how many weeks running. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the past year. At any rate, Joe wants to know, how many Foodie Pro installs have you done over at Theme Valet?
It's going to sound terrible now, like we've never had any orders, but we definitely had lots of orders. I don't think we ever had Foodie Pro. I really don't think we've had. Maybe I don't think we've ever done like a kind of foodie sort of blog. So maybe that's because our audience is coming from, our customers are coming from somewhere else right now. I don't mind saying this as well. I think we get most of our customers right now from Facebook groups. Facebook groups, Intrepid, I'm like, there's no like secrets or whatever it might be, but it's not like a big secret anyway. It's people, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, like I said, who have existing businesses, who know what WordPress is, and they want to start a second business or something. And there's be a few like 9-to-5ers transition to their first business, or people that had a site on like a GoDaddy set up by yourself thing, and now realize how horrible it is, want to transition to WordPress. We get a few people like that, and I get a lot of customers from that, and I guess the kind of groups and stuff that we've got a lot of these customers in, I guess where you could be starting a kind of food related thing, but we have, I think Altitude which is the theme we use on Theme Valet, has probably been our most set up theme. So it's a sort of answer Joe's question. Well, I did answer Joe's question. We've set up none, I'm afraid, Joe. Sorry, I'll try and get one set up soon. But I'm a big fan of the theme, and like you, I saw it. It just seems to be #1 forever. So, which is fantastic. So.
All right. Well, and you threw in a little tidbit there right at the very end, which is Facebook groups have been a tremendous source of customer acquisition for you. Interesting tidbit.
And Slack groups, Facebook groups, for my thing, because it's where it's that thing in the buying cycle, and I don't even go in and go, hey, buy Theme Valet, but I just go in and I talk about Theme Valet and the business and what we're doing and what we're working on, and it just seems to just filter into their brain at the right moment to come, and they just remember us. And I get people who remember us from like 3 months ago. I spoke to them. Obviously something sticks in their head, so I would definitely recommend. For me, I mean, it's different for everyone, but I don't think we've ever picked up many customers on Twitter, but Facebook groups, like Slack groups, just it's all the good stuff people always saying, like Gary Vee and stuff, I think Noah Kagan over at AppSumo always goes on about this as well. It's just like participate in these communities just as a genuine person, and you will get customers. And it's true. It's just true. And think about how you buy things yourself. So I think that's my my small bit of advice that I can give.
That is golden advice. Yeah, that is fantastic, and that is a perfect note, wonderful note to end on. Nick, I appreciate you very much being on the show today, and appreciate your time.
Thank you,
folks.
Thank you for doing this awesome show every week.
Heck yeah! Thanks for the little write-up in the GenesisWP guide, sharing the love. So for you who are listening out there, I will see you in the new year. So I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Nick, if people want to catch up with you, where is the best place? Twitter, Slack, Facebook, all of the above?
Well, I just said about Slack, but I'm not mega in the Genesis. I do have it open, but I'm not participating that much in it right now. So probably Twitter. It's probably the best place to grab me. And or I should just give one quick shout out. Say if you're kind of a developer and you get kind of jobs like Theme Valet kind of style setups you don't want to do anymore, come over and send me an email, nick@themevalet.com, and we'll help you out. So yeah, that's my one plug.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and see you soon. Bye.